for a party. Yeah? So we all have a very special birthday party to attend. Ketan, did you get the things that I told you to bring?
Okay, so I got the candles, I got the balloons, streamers, party poppers, and I can't think of anything else really.
Wait. We need the one who we are arranging this for, right? Swami. Did he tell you what time he's coming? What time is his ETA? Is he coming by bus, car? Is he having lunch? What's happening?
He told me on FaceTime yesterday he was going to come at about 2:20.
Swami's
by horse and chariot. So if anybody hears anything, please be ready to invite him in. And he'll be just in time for the next performance, which is an invocation dance.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Swami's timing is always perfect, isn't it? Well, okay, so shall we kickstart then our birthday celebrations? Shall we? Yeah. Alright. And so to kickstart our birthday celebration, let us first welcome Bhagwan, as Ketan said, with an Avaskar dance by the children of the SSE Halifax. Let's put our hands together for them.
May
very much. That was wonderful indeed. Nice start to the afternoon session, I believe. Shall we have the next one then?
Yes, so let's come back to our droplets of love. So Bhagwan has showered us with a full flesh of rain outside, but next up we have Arvin Uncle from Sai Centre Greater Manchester to share a quick few minutes of memories from himself. He has been the service coordinator in Manchester and is going on to being the chairperson next year. And he is a very active individual in the region, and his Seva activities spread outside the Sai organisation, in particular within Shaw Hospital, where he's regularly doing Seva activities. So let's, with a round of applause, welcome him.
Ram, I didn't realize he meant active, meaning go up the step without the stairs. So thank you for giving me a couple of minutes. I know we're running late, so I've written it down, and basically the experience which I'm going to share with you is about a particular day in the calendar, 12th of August 1997. This is the day when this was our last day in Prashantinilya with my son. We lived in the United States at that time, and we were in Prashantinilya as usual for 7 or 8 days, hoping for a darshan like every person who goes there would ask for and wish for. Never had any. Never had a darshan, never had a Pad Namaskar, never had anything materialized, nothing, just a pure darshan. On this particular day, which was our last day, during the morning darshan, I was sitting in the front row, because there used to be a queue system where you either get a chance to sit in the front or at the back, you know. I was in the front row, my son was in probably second or third row. And obviously Baba had planned a golden moment in our lives that day, which we were not aware of. Baba came and during the darshan line and stood in front of me. I panicked a little bit, I must admit, not knowing what to do. And so I extended my arm, which actually had a folded handkerchief, a white handkerchief, which my mother gave us to get his blessings while we're there. And Swami immediately said, no, open hand. As soon as I opened the hand, he materialized the vibhuti, but I really don't have a clear recollection of what exactly transpired during that phase. And, you know, in split seconds, he left. Such must have been the intensity of his divine aura, which we've all heard and read about, but this was my first ever experience of what it's like when you actually go through a blackout almost, and you have absolutely no recollection of what happened. So let me say, this was an awesome moment which we cannot describe in words. Once that darshan, morning darshan was over, a few devotees gathered around me to say how fortunate I was and so on. And some of the vibhuti was shared, and I actually scraped some of the vibhuti and brought it with us, and it's still in our altar today. Then I learned that Baba had also gone after the opportunity to have darshan and materialization of vibhuti to me. He had gone directly to where my son was sitting, which was quite a distance and in the third row. And my son had written a note. Every day he would carry a note in his pocket, and he would say, you know, if Swami knows that I have written a note for him, why doesn't he collect it? Now this is a 16-year-old teenager from California, okay? So these are quite natural questions to occur. Apparently that day, Swami said to him, give me the note. So I think he gave the note and he was totally shocked. You know, how does he know that I have a note for him? So both of us were truly blessed on our last day in Prashantinilya. But that's not all. Just see what happened next. That same evening, we were both in the market area outside of the ashram, where we stopped at a shop called Baba Photo. I don't think it exists anymore, but it used to be called Baba Photo shop. This was a shop where the official photographer in Prashantinilya owned the shop. He actually took the pictures during the darshans, and then basically just laid them out on a table for people to, pick whatever they want to purchase. We both went there, it was dark, and guess what? We found a picture lying on the table that had both of us, my son and I, and Swami, with a date stamp on it. In those days, the negatives had dates, right? So obviously it was taken in the afternoon darshan because the positions we were sitting were not the same as the positions we were in the morning. So it was in the afternoon darshan. But to actually get a picture thrown on a table randomly in hundreds of pictures, with both of us there and Swami very clearly giving darshan, and we are folding our arms and sitting in the afternoon darshan line, I'm assuming, with a date stamp, was just totally unbelievable in my opinion. That's really an experience which I wanted to share. This was basically, in my view, Baba's way of giving us his visiting card, I called it. Because a visiting card sometimes can be without the name, it can be a picture, and that was a perfect visiting card. And I would say this is his droplets of love for us. Lessons learned. I think I was asked to say about lessons learned. The only lesson that I would say we learned from this experience is always remember that Swami is omnipresent. I mean, he is everywhere and he knows everything at the same time. So he's present at the same time. And that he resides in our heart. And I think this was definitely an evidence given to us, both of us, to say that that is exactly, omnipresence is exactly what he is. Sign on.
Sairam, thank you very much, Arvind Uncle. That was indeed very, very beautiful. And it is a perfect visiting card indeed, because with Swami, I think there's no such thing as coincidence. Everything happens for a reason at the exact time placed. Everything is planned by Swami to detail. So, very, very beautiful experience. Thank you again, Arvind Uncle.
Thank you. Can we have a round of applause, please? So, I've asked Vijay Uncle to hold the slide so there's no cheating this time. So it's the next part of our game. So we've done Shirdi Avatar, we've done the birth, we've done the Avatar declaration. So can we have the next slide, please? And hands up, remember. It's a bit harder this one. No.
That's fine.
The letters actually said S.
Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organization. It's a 5-word budget.
5-word like. Oh, we've left everyone.
Wow, for once we have made them think.
Yes, yes, fantastic.
Excellent.
Brahmanda Nayaka
Brahma.
Baba, Partipurishwara Baba. Chaitanya Jyoti, and then the
All the significant places in Perth.
So,
I must say, actually, the PowerPoint is very much biased towards the Purushas. It's facing them. But it's okay. It's alright. I mean, at the end of the day, competition is secondary. What we learn and what we know about Swami's life is the most important thing. So, yeah, so the Sathya Sai Seva organization was founded by Bhagavan in the 1960s. And the significance of this song, basically what we're trying to say is that although the headquarters of this organization is based in Prashanti Nilayam, but the whole Brahmanda, the whole universe, the whole world is based in Swami's kingdom. Alright, so there's no such thing as Swami only resides in Puttaparthi, but every nook and corner of this world, Swami is there with every one of us. Okay? So,
So in the organization declaration that Baba's put together, he said, the organization is meant to enable its members to undertake service activities as a means to spiritual advancement. So everything is about getting better in our spiritual lives through seva, seva, and seva. Fantastic. So, next up we have another musical item called Sundaram. So our Satyam Shivam Sundaram, the last of our trinity, and it is by the ladies of Halifax Centre, and it's a musical which is based on the music of the South Indian saint Tyagaraja. So if I could please ask everybody to put their hands together for the Mahilas of Halifax.
Sairam everyone. Actually, we were announced to be Halifax women, but this is like a mixture of Halifax, Liverpool, and Bradford / Leeds. So anyway, it's what's the name? So the first song that we're going to start singing today is a very melodious song, which I'm sure all of you know. The meaning of it is evident because it is in Hindi, and it is really for Suprita and me, when we first wanted to sing something for Swami's birthday, the first thought for both of us was this song. So I really hope you like it. I'm not going to explain to it. The next song I'm going to explain because it's in Telugu, but this doesn't need any explanation because it is in Hindi, and I hope you all enjoy it. तुम ही मोरे गिरिधर नागर, तुम ही मोरे घनश्याम, परती के राजा शिरडी निवासा, तुम ही अयोध्या इतना प्यार पाया है तुमसे, इस जीवन को राह मिली, तुम ही मोरे गिरिधर नागर, तुम ही मोरे घनश्याम, तुम ही मोरे घनश्याम। तुझसे जीवन तुम बिन लगे ना, मन मोरा बावरा कन्हैया, मन मोरा बावरा। तुझसे जीवन तुम बिन लगे ना, मन मोरा बावरा कन्हैया, मन मोरा बावरा। अश्र बहेले नौ से उसाई, दर्शन दे अब तो, दर्शन दे अब तो। इस जीवन में मिल जो गए हो, बांधे रखो राम, तुम ही मोरे गिरिधर नागर, तुम ही मोरे घनश्याम, तुम ही मोरे घनश्याम। तुम ही हो जग के पालनहारे, इस युग के अवतार, ओ रामा, इस युग के अवतार। तुम ही हो जग के पालनहारे,
दुश्मन भी भाई राह पे चलने लगी तुझसे ही मिल भी गई तुम ही मोरे गिरिधर नागर तुम ही मोरे घनश्याम परती पुरीशा शिरडी निवासा तू ही अयोध्या राम इतना प्यार पाया है तुमसे इस जीवन को राह मिली तुम ही मोरे गिरिधर नागर तुम ही मोरे घनश्याम तुम ही मोरे
The next song that we're going to sing is a Carnatic song. It is written by the great saint composer Tyagaraja. It is in the rag Abheri, and what we're going to do is we're going to start off with Nagumomo and then go to a medley of bhajans in the same raga. So the bhajans I'm sure you're familiar with, but this you will love it. Though the meaning is that the devotee is yearning for God, and he says that if you turn your face away from me, if you ignore me, I can't go anywhere else. So Nagumomo Gandeni is a very, very popular Carnatic song. Hope you enjoy it. Namo
pa ni sa ni sa ni sa ni sa ni da ma pa ni sa ga ma pa ni sa da ma pa ni sa ga ma pa ni sa ga ga ni sa ni da ma pa ga ni sa ni da ma pa ga ni sa ga ma pa ma ga ni sa ga ma pa ma ga ni sa ga ma Govinda Krishna Vikala Venugopala Krishna Vikala Panduranga Vikala Jaya Pandarinath Vikala Govinda Vikala Gopala Vikala Panduranga Vikala Pandarinath Vikala 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 Panduranga 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 Nagumo
Sairam, everyone. Can we have another round of applause for that fantastic performance? Absolutely amazing. And the compilation of bhajans at the end, so beautiful. Thank you so much for that. Especially the first song that you sang. There was a line, Bharti Raja Shirdi Nivasa. Such a beautiful meaning. The king of Bharti lives in Shirdi. Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Alright, so that brings us to our next session, which is a talk by Dr. Sunil Agarwal. So Dr. Sunil Agarwal is a consultant cardiologist in Liverpool, having been brought up and educated in Oxford and London. He spent 3 years training in cardiology at the Super Specialty Hospital in Puttaparthi before finishing his training in London. He is now a visiting cardiologist in Puttaparthi and Whitefield. His family has been devotees of Swami since the 1990s, and his parents have lived in Puttaparthi since 1996. He and his family have had many opportunities for close personal interactions with Swami in that time.
So let us please put our hands together and warmly welcome Dr. Sunil Agarwal.
My humble pranams at the lotus feet of our Divine Lord. Dear elders, brothers and sisters, Jai Sai Ram. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk. And as I've been thinking about my experiences with Swami, I've been transported back to Puttaparthi. And in fact, today, all the wonderful music and drama, that has also brought me back very much to that time that I spent in Parthi. And I hope that I can also transport all of you there for a few minutes as well, as I tell some of my experiences with Swami. I thought, where should I start? Probably at the beginning. So how did our family get to Swami in the first place? Well, like so many things, and I'm sure all devotees are very used to so-called coincidences, back in 1990, my father one day was just looking through his address book, and he saw the name of a friend of his that he hadn't talked to for about 10 years. And he just thought, I'll pick up the phone, just see how he's doing. And so he did, and his friend, surprisingly to him, was really enthusiastic and said, well, you must all come and spend the weekend with us in Derby. We lived in Oxford, so it wasn't too far. And so we went there, and they spent the whole weekend talking about Swami. And my parents had never heard about him, even though they had various friends that knew about Swami and had been to Puttaparthi, but no one had ever mentioned it to them until this point. I was not that old then, so I was just playing with their children, oblivious to all of this, until on the car on the way back, my parents just started telling us a few things that they'd heard. And to be honest, things escalated very rapidly for our family. So within a month of that, my father went to Parthi for the first time. A few months later, we started the Sai Centre in Oxford, and that was 1991, and my father got very interested in the opening of the first super specialty hospital. I think partly because in his career he had been doing research into artificial heart valves, and this was to be a cardiac centre that was opening. And indeed, he got an invitation to the opening of the super specialty hospital in 91. So he was there, and as just a couple of days before the opening of the hospital, Swami called him for an interview with a group. And the first thing he did when he got in was Swami materialized a 9-gem ring, gave it to him, and put it on his finger. When Swami then called him for a personal interview, he went inside, and my father, he's extremely organized, so he had a little bit of paper, and on it he put a list of questions that if he ever got called for interview, he would ask these of Swami. And of course, at that point, he suddenly remembered his list of questions, so he took it out, and the first question said, Swami, if you really are who you say you are, please materialize a 9-gem ring. And so there it was. And then he went through all his other questions, and Swami answered all of them very thoroughly. And, after that, things escalated further. So my parents, first they moved back to Delhi, then eventually to Puttaparthi. But in that time, many of us have doubts also about Swami, and especially early on. And he often answers those to us in different ways. In our family, one of the things he did was, my younger sister, she used to have a lot of serious kidney problems as a child. She used to have all these scans, and she was told one of the kidneys was only working at about 30%. And she used to get admitted to hospital as well, not that infrequently. So on one of these occasions, she ended up admitted in hospital at the time my father was in Parthi. And my father asked Swami, said to Swami, Swami, my daughter's got this kidney infection, she's in hospital. And Swami went, what kidney infection? And then he gave him 7 packets of vibhuti and said, look, when you go back, she should put one of these every day into a cup of water, 1 packet, and that's it. So she did. She took 1 packet of vibhuti every day in water, and after 7 days, she was fine. But much more than that, when she went for her next scan of her kidneys, her doctors in Oxford, where we lived, were astonished because they say, this scan shows your kidneys are completely back to normal, so you don't need to come back again for any further checks. And she's not had any problems since. So, sort of to my own experiences with Swami, well, I suppose I should start with an early experience when I went to medical school, which is in 96. And I'd been at university about 3 months. It was the Christmas holidays. I'd gone to Parthi. And, a lot of young people will know that at university especially, it can be a quite difficult time because you have a certain environment you've grown up in, and then you're in a slightly different environment. And anyway, I'd gone there to Parthi, and Swami had called me and my father for an interview just a day or so before coming back. And he gave me this robe. He put it in a packet, he sort of very lovingly folded it, put it in a packet and gave it to me. And then he asked me, where are you going to put this? And I thought, that's an odd question. So I said, Swami, you tell me. He went, well, in your room, you'll see there's a big cupboard. Don't put it in there. Next to it, there's a small cupboard, and that has a lock on it. You put it in there, and you keep it locked. And by that, obviously, he gave me instructions, but he also told me, look, I'm with you, I know where you live, I know what your room looks like. He sort of described it so perfectly. So fast forward a little bit. So I was in my final year of medical school, and the year before that, I'd asked Swami, I would like to come for a month to do an elective placement in the hospital in cardiac surgery, and I was going to South America for 6 weeks, then to Parthi. So Swami had agreed to it, and it was agreed with the hospital. So then, a year later, the placement was meant to start. I arrive in Puttaparthi, and Swami doesn't say anything. And when I asked the people in the hospital, they said, well, it was agreed, but until Swami physically says to us that you can start, you can't start. So I'm sitting there for a few days, I think the Thursday probably, so I'd been there about 4 or 5 days, and in my head I was thinking, Swami, it's all fine, but when I go back, I've got this funding from this Commonwealth Institute, sort of a scholarship to do this, and my supervisors in university, what are they going to say? They're not going to say, well, it's fine, you didn't do anything because you were just sitting there and you were waiting. And then Swami suddenly just called me again with my father and said, why are you here? So I said, Swami, meant to do this placement. So he said, well, I'll call you tomorrow, or I'll call you in a day or so, with the doctor of doctors, Dr. Neelam Desai. She's the head of cardiac surgery, and you can start work. But also, he said to me, tell me your experience. So he went through almost like a job interview, have you done appendix operation, have you done hernia operation, have you done any heart surgery, have you done these? So asked me so many questions as well. And true to his word, on the Saturday, so a couple of days later, he called me again, he called this Dr. Neelam Desai, and he said another funny thing to me. He said, she's going to be your mother-in-law. So I was thinking, does she have a daughter? But of course he didn't mean that. He meant, she's going to be very strict, which she was and is, but she's a wonderful surgeon as well. So that day, on the Saturday, he called her and he said to me, look, this is Dr. Neelam Desai. She's the doctor of doctors. You'll be working with her. And so indeed we went on. And I had the placement and so on. Just another thing that happened in that final year of university, just like I said, Swami often reminds you about things that happen, in his physical presence, but sometimes he likes to remind you about things when you're not there. So we had the first written exam at university, and I normally completely fine with exams, but I felt very nervous that day, that morning, sort of woke up very sort of anxious. And then just before I was going to the exam hall, I looked at my sheet of paper and I saw the number 17001. So I thought to myself, oh, this adds up to 9. Swami's there looking after me. So I sat in the exam hall. And then it sort of occurred to me that it was alphabetical, but actually there were 2 people in my class whose surnames were before me in the alphabet. So how did I end up with that particular number, which was not otherwise meant to be mine? And the funny thing is that when it came to the practical exams, I saw my number then had changed to 7002. So I thought that adds up to 9 as well. But the interesting thing is that they had then sorted out the alphabetical nature, but there was someone who had failed in front of me. So again, Swami was just telling me, look, I'm actually always there. You just, you stop worrying about things. Now, it was mentioned that I spent 3 years in Perthi working in the super specialty hospital. So there, I'd finished my initial training in medicine in England. I was in Oxford at the time. And Swami had said to my father, well, he told me a few months before, you come here, and that was it. And then in the April, I'd finished my final exam, and my father said to Swami, look, he's finished. And Swami said he should come in a month's time. And my father asked me, can you come in a month? And I went, well, I normally have to give 3 months' notice. But obviously when I went, they said, no, it's only 1 month's notice, so that's fine. So I ended up there beginning of June. And after all of this, Swami didn't say anything to me for 4 months while I was sitting there studying for what is the Indian equivalent of the PLAB exam. A lot of doctors here probably know that when you come from India here, you have to sit an exam. So we had to sit an exam to go there to work. So I sat this exam, and I sat in darshan for sort of 4 months, just studying morning, afternoon. And, Swami, like I said, he didn't say anything. But the day the letter came from Delhi saying that I've passed the exam, Swami came to the back of the darshan where I was sitting in the back of the veranda, and he said to me, boy. So I said, Swami, he went, what are you doing? And I showed him the letter because I'd taken it with me to darshan, and he went, fine, you start tomorrow. So that's it, so his timing is always impeccable. When I was there, I had many opportunities to interact with Swami. He didn't come to the hospital that much in those days. But on one occasion, I'd been there about 2 years at that point, there was the opening of a screening block. So there was a new building in the hospital campus. And there was various dignitaries invited from Delhi as well. The head of examinations from Delhi, she was invited. And I was sitting just somewhere in the middle. And then these two gentlemen came, who I didn't know that well. But they said to me, look, we're allowed to take a video of Swami. But, we're not really very good at using this video camera. So do you think you can take the video instead? So I said, yeah, I'm happy to do that. And they said, oh, but you can't really do it sitting back here. So they took me right to the front and sat me there so I could take this video. And then Swami, he was there, various things happened, some bhajans and talks and things. And then he looked towards me, and I didn't sort of realize that he was trying to talk to me because I was sitting behind this video camera. And about after he pointed 2 or 3 times, everyone started looking at me. So I realized that, okay, it must be me. So I gave the camera to someone, went up to him. And then he called the director of the hospital. He called Dr. Valetti Chaudhary, who's the senior cardiac surgeon there. He called this lady from Delhi, who was the head of examinations, Dr. Bharadwaj. And he spent like the next 20-25 minutes just talking to us. And everyone's thinking, this guy's really lucky, Swami's spending so much time talking to him. What they didn't know is that all this interaction was because he was asking her, look, why, although he's allowed to work in the hospital, you're not letting him do any exams here? And she said, no, Swami, he's got to leave the hospital, he's got to go work somewhere else for at least 3 years, then he's allowed to come back. So inside, I was feeling really terrible, actually, while everyone else is thinking that I was really lucky. I was feeling really terrible that, I've got to go because they won't let me work here. And so that lunchtime then, after this whole thing had finished, I asked my head of department, I said, can I go to darshan today in the afternoon? And we never used to get to darshan because we used to usually finish work at like 7 p.m. when it's all finished. So he said, look, he understood. He said, fine, off you go. So I'm sitting in darshan on my own because in that doctor's area, basically, there used to be no one there at that time. Everyone was at work. So I'm just sitting there on my own, and Swami sees me and sort of looks at me like, why are you here? You're meant to be at work. So anyway, I went, Swami, this morning, and he went, oh, okay. So he called me and he called my father, and then called us inside the interview room, and he sort of talked and said, no, don't worry, you don't have to go anywhere. And what's more is at that time I was at the point of my training there when I was meant to be sort of going up to start sort of actual, you could call them keyhole procedures in the heart, and that would have been my next bit of training. And he said, yes, you go to cath lab. And so literally next day, they took me from the outpatients where I'd been most of the time up there to sort of the next bit of my training. So he always, when the time came, he always made sure everything happened in such a timely fashion. And I have to say one thing about the hospital there is, the dedication of people is something that I think is testimony really to his love for all of us. Because, if here you are someone sort of every third night you're on call, you work 6 days a week, you hardly have holidays, and even the things most people think in Bharti, the doctors, we used to be able to go to darshan. Actually, we used to go to darshan like once a week on a Sunday, and that too only if you weren't on call, so it was even less than that. But really, that dedication of the staff that was there was something that I kind of wish I had now, and also where I'm working now. I thought I'd sort of come towards the end by just mentioning that, often now that Swami's not in the physical form there, many of us have experiences here and in our houses and elsewhere. And even for me, sometimes I think I've found Swami's greatest love has actually been not in his physical presence, whether he's been giving you something, materializing something for you, vibhuti, talking to you, but sometimes you really feel his love when you're well away from there. And I mentioned earlier I'd been to South America as part of my elective, so I spent 6 weeks in Lima in Peru. And, Swami, one thing, he organizes things so beautifully, because my mother's a huge warrior, and, conveniently people started telling her before I was going, oh, South America, it's really dangerous. They told us stories about people getting kidnapped from the airport and all kinds of stuff. So obviously she was thinking that this is terrible, you're going there. But just 2 months before I went, Swami sent someone, conveniently, coincidence as people keep saying, but it's not really, to my father, a person from Lima, who said, don't worry, I'm going through London, so I'll meet your son on the way back home. And when I go back home, when he comes, I'll pick him from the airport, I'll look after him, don't worry. So that made her happy. And when I actually arrived there, we were looking for somewhere for me to stay. And this chap, he drove around, he said, well, these are the safe areas, we'll look here. We couldn't find anything. Then he went a little further afield and he said, okay, he found this youth hostel and they said, yeah, we've got rooms and you can stay here. So I stayed there. And Lima is a huge city. There's about 7 million people. It's like half the population of Peru there. And I'd got a list of Psi centers in Lima, but I didn't really know where they were. And I don't think Google Maps was quite as advanced then as it is now. Whether it was even there, I don't remember. But anyway, when I reached there, I got a map, the old book maps, I looked through. And of course, one of the centers was literally 2 minutes from this youth hostel. So I could go there. And what's more, I turned up on a Sunday when they had bhajans. And of course, everyone was wondering, who's this Indian guy here? Because there's basically no Indians in there. And it turned out that the youth group that met in Lima, of all the 7 centers, was in that very center. And those people had so much love for Swami. I really, because very few of them had the resources to go to Parthi. So one, they loved listening about Parthi, but secondly, they just had that level of dedication and love that I think is what I think now we all need, really. When we don't have that physical form there, we need to develop that love. And, the amount of love they gave me, they involved me, and there was Swami's birthday celebration, so they involved me there in their play, giving a talk in very basic Spanish that I could speak then. When I went traveling, they called their other centers in the country and said, oh, look after him there. And, everywhere, people just looked after you so much. And that kind of love, I think, is what I really hope that I can develop, that we can all develop, so that in these times when Swami, the physical form is not there, we can still have that love for each other and for just other people. Random people, I was random to them, but they showed me that love. And that's something that I think is really sometimes missing, but something that we can surely develop. So, thanks very much again for this opportunity. I could keep talking my experiences, but I think that's probably enough. I know it's a very packed program. And Jai Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Thank you, Brother Sunil, for the wonderful talk. We can actually never get enough of listening to experiences of ex-students and people who have worked with Swami and been in his physical presence. So thank you very much. I think we have definitely picked up some very important and interesting points, like Dr. Sunil said, that Swami knows everything we need or want, whether it's a tiny thing, but before you ask for it, he's already given it to you. Like the small thing was the ring that his father had thought of, and he didn't even have to ask it, and Swami gave it to him. So I think for each and every one of us, whatever needs and wants that we have, Swami basically knows every single thing. So just need to be sincere with whatever we ask from him, and he will definitely bless it onto us.
Yes, it definitely links back to what we heard earlier, that Bhagwan, although he interacts with so many thousands of people, he knows the exact needs of every single one of us. So thank you again. Another round of applause, please.
Okay, so we are going on to the 5th bhajan actually, so wait for we won't get the slides on first. So this is the 5th one. Everybody ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Okay, here.
Oh, fantastic.
Excellent.
The first point to Sai Mailas. Fantastic. So yes, Bhasma Bhushitanga Sai Chandrasekhara. So if we can have the next slide, please. Thank you. So we know that Shivratri celebrations were very, very, very popular in Prashanti in the 60s and the 70s because of what Leela's Baba used to do. He used to do the producing the lingam and the vibhuti abhishek to Shirdi Sai as well. And through this, he reminded us of the significance of the vibhuti. So vibhuti is ash from burnt material, but it cannot burn itself. Therefore, it's an end point. For humanity, such an end point can only be reached when all desires are burnt away. Thus, vibhuti is a symbol of ultimate purity which all humans should try and achieve. So, well done. So it's 2-1. 3-1.
4-1. Ketan's being very, very nice to us. actually. I should allow that to go on.
You're being generous.
Oh, thank you. All right, so that's for one. That's very good. And so next up we have the SSA children from Sai Centre of Greater Manchester. Let us put our hands together and welcome them onto the stage.
Om Shri Sai Ram. We, the children of the Sai Centre of Greater Manchester, offer our humble salutations at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Swami. We'll start with a short song. Dear Lord, your love is so great, so far as the oceans and the sky. Dear Lord, we will never let you go. We will love you forevermore. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Om Sai Ram. Om Sai Ram. Om Sai Ram. Om Sai Ram.
We all consider Swami as our friend. Let's see how much we know about him. Are you all ready to take a short quiz about him? Yes. Whoever knows the answer, raise your hands, please. Question 1. Why was Baba named the Satyanarayana?
His mother did mother-in-law, his grandma, Sai Baba's grandma did Satyanarayana Puja, and then Baba was born at the same time. So maybe Satyanarayana.
Correct. Baba was born after Mother Isharama had taken the prasadam of Sri Satyanarayana Vartam, which her mother-in-law had brought for the next door family.
Question 2. What is the name of the play written by Baba as a boy? Well done. Does anybody know the meaning?
Do you do whatever you say?
Well done. The answer was Chepinattu Chestara. Do you practice what you preach? Question 3. What is the name of the magazine published in Pudpati? Correct. Question 4. What was the first button taught by Baba? Correct.
Question 5. What are the 5 basic principles on which Baba's philosophy of life and education are based? Correct. The answer was Satya, which means truth, Dharma, righteousness, Shanti, peace, Prema, love, and Ahimsa, non-violence.
Who considers Swami as a friend? Here are some pictures. Which one do you like and why? I like Sai Baba behind the curtain. It kind of shows me like playing hide and seek, still being a child. I like the one where he's on the phone because he says, well, it means that he's with all the new gadgets and stuff. Is there anyone else? Which is your favourite?
The one in the hospital where he's doing Seva.
Yeah.
Swami walked in desiring that devotee. Always holds my hand and walks with
The picture on the far top corner, black and white,
Yeah.
Swami is walking with someone. Believe it or not, Swami is walking with each of us every day.
When was Baba born? Yeah, that's correct. He also has another date. Does anyone want to guess? He also has another birthday. Guess. Swami also considers another date for his birthday. Do you have a guess?
Everybody here wants to say?
when he's born in our heart.
Yes.
What is the meaning of Sai Baba? Correct.
Does anyone know the names of his parents? Yeah.
Question 9. Swami gives unique meanings to some words. What does Swami say are the meanings for the following words? Forest.
Swami usually splits the word and gives meaning. So, can anyone guess?
Yes. Correct. Interview. Correct.
Question 10. How many brothers and sisters does Baba have? Correct. What are their names?
Vengamma, Sheshamma, Parvatamma, Parvatamma, Sheshamaraju.
You've got 3 right. The answer was, his brothers are Seshamaraju and Janaki Ramaya, and his sisters are Venkama and Parvatama. Swami is our only friend and guru always. We love you, Swami. Thank you for listening. We'll now end our program with a bhajan. Sai Ram.
Guru
Sai-ram. Let's have another round of applause for that very stressful presentation by the Greater Manchester Sai Centre children. That certainly tested my knowledge anyway. I've got to say I didn't know a lot of them,
Yeah.
so...
Me too. But I must say the ladies answered more than the men, I think. Only thing we didn't score this, but it's okay, we got it.
So, the theme for the Balvikas classes at the Sai Centre Greater Manchester this term has been My Friend Sai, and how we can see Baba as our bestest friend. Baba has often said that friends are passing clouds, and he is our only loyal friend who will be with us in thick and thin. So, the children came up with some questions and so on, and Srinath chose his own song and did his own action, so fantastic, super duper.
Wonderful. Let's give another round of applause for them. So that was actually indeed very, very nice. Did wake us up a little bit as well, just to get us thinking and everything, so that's good. Next we'll have another warm droplet of love.
So, next up we have Prahalad, who is again another active youth member in our region. So he's now studying medicine at Newcastle, and he's part of a in-depth Sai family. So let's, with a round of applause, welcome him to the stage.
Sai-ram. Can you hear me at the back?
No.
Good, very good. Last week I just got a very late WhatsApp from Sai saying, we need you to say something about, we need you to share your experience of Swami's love. So I was like, for last week I've just been in the back of my mind thinking, because of not having a direct physical, talking or partners or things like that, it's quite hard to rack your brain for instances of love, but when you start thinking about it, you realise that whether or not you've physically touched his feet, whether or not you've heard his voice, we all have infinite experiences of love that we can all share, I'm sure. So I've just got one, one where it's, he answers your prayer regardless of when you, what you've done. He's always there to answer your prayer as long as you sincerely do it, and whether you've earned his blessing. So back in May and June, I had my A-level exams, and as people who know who've applied to uni, what happens is you get your place at university, and then they let you in if you meet the results of your of what they ask in your exams. So I had my place at Newcastle, ready waiting for medicine, and I was all excited. And then the exams came around, which, as Dr. Agarwal said, I'm not normally too bad at exams, but that day it was very, very difficult, and I came out like, oh my God, this is the end. Like everything is, I've just followed the final hurdle here, book closed, back home. I might as well, go to the Himalayas, go to the caves, find some sort of spiritual motion, because I'm not going to be allowed in. That's what I thought. And then, I went home that day. I went into the puja room, and I just said, just whatever, just a dream, something. Just show me something, just to know that I'm still on track to be okay. And then that weekend we had our monthly bhajans, and I was debating whether or not to go, which is very silly because you should always go to bhajans if you can. So I was debating whether, because I had an exam on the Monday, and on the Saturday we had the bhajans, so I was like, an hour and a half, maybe I should not go. So, but I decided to go in the end. And for those of you who've had the misfortune of hearing me sing, it's not that great, but that day, no way do I deserve any recognition from God for my singing, but that day for my bhajan that I sang, I had this in the back of my mind that, I need something to know that I'm going to be alright back when September comes around. And that day for the bhajan, 2 flowers fell off the photo. 2 flowers. So I don't know what that means, whether that's 2 grades increased, I have no idea what that means. He knows what that means. But yeah, so it was, I probably sang it really bad, but he must have enjoyed it. So 2 flowers fell, and then from then on I knew, I stopped worrying about, that exam, how it went. I just stopped worrying, and by the time the results came, I knew that whatever happens, I'll be, he's looking after me, and if you really deserve something, then he'll make sure it happens. And for me, that was lucky because the prayer was answered very quickly, because he was probably quite worried about mental state. So he answered it quite quickly, but and sometimes the answer doesn't come quickly. So I think you just have to have faith and stick by it. But the answer will always come if you deserve it. Jai Sai Ram.
Thank you, Prahlad. That was actually very, very beautiful. And I think we all can relate to that, especially the youngsters. You know, we all have that little challenges that we have at times, and you just need a small indication from Swami, and then you feel like, okay, I will be fine. And that was very, very beautiful. Thank you. Can we give him another round of applause, please? Next up, we have another droplet of love, and this time we have Auntie Vasanti. Auntie Vasanti is the chairperson in Sai Center of Greater Manchester, and she's known Swami since the 1990s, if I'm right. So let us please put our hands together and welcome Auntie Vasanti.
Okay, that's good. Sairam everyone, I've got a piece of paper like I said this morning. If I don't have it written down, I'm likely to go off the tangent. So keep me on track. So this is regarding one of our trips to Puttaparthi. So on one of our trips to Puttaparthi, we were sitting in the aeroplane, that is my husband and Sanjay. And Sanjay remembered we have forgotten to bring his slider board, because we used the slider board to transfer him from the wheelchair to the bed, and from the bed to the wheelchair. This means that having forgotten the slider board, Mom and Dad have to lift him off his wheelchair, put him in the bed, and then in the morning we have to repeat the same. And this is what Sanjay does not like us to do, if at all we can help him. But the slider was already forgotten at home. It didn't come into our packing. And there was nothing we could do. For a 2-week stay, we'll just have to lift him. And whether Sanjay likes it or not, we'll have to just get on with it. So we got to Bangalore, took a taxi, and came to Puttaparthi. The taxi was parked outside the accommodation office in the northern blocks. And Jayanti, my husband, went in to book us a room. Sanjay and I stayed in the taxi. And as we was just looking around, sitting in the taxi, we saw this young man walk past the taxi, and we recognized him as Greg. Greg originally is from Manchester, and he was then living in Puttaparthi. So he stopped and was very surprised to see us, because he had never been to this side of the ashram. And he just decided to take a detour and see the other side of the ashram. And we started chatting, and we mentioned about the slider board to Greg. At this point, we didn't realize Swami's hand in this. Then Greg asked us, how big is this slider board? At that point, he said, he has a carpenter in his flat working on that day. So he asked us to draw him this slider board on a piece of paper with the dimensions and the size, everything. So Sanjay drew it out on the paper for him, and he went away with this piece of paper. So we went in the evening darshan, came home after Swami's darshan in the evening. And the next thing we know is somebody's knocking on our door as soon after we got in our room around 6 o'clock. And It was Greg standing outside our room with the slider board in his hand. It was exactly the same as we had left one plastic one at home. Same size, same shine. The only thing is it was in wood. But the carpentry, it was like Swami had absolutely polished it to our requirement. And it worked exactly like it did, like the plastic one did. Dr. Sunil said, Swami's timing is impeccable. Can you see? We didn't even have to wait a night in Puttaparthi before our troubled mind was completely settled. We didn't have to worry about lifting and taking care of Sanjay, because whilst lifting, if we do not do it correctly in unison, we are likely to drop him. And that is the danger as well. Sanjay, sorry. So how Swami takes care of his devotees is given by this example. We know Swami knows our thoughts and also tells us, why fear when I'm here? And do you know what? Miracle of miracles, Greg and Yashoda are here today, sitting right at the back. Swami worked his miracle through Greg, who had never taken that route before. He knew we were desperate. Greg was Swami's instrument to help us out. Jai Sai Ram.
What a touching and heartfelt story. Another round of applause. Not for the simple speech, but for Baba and his perfect timing of putting everything in place. So, on to our game again?
Yeah, the final one for the day. So, everybody ready? Yes, the final one, okay? So, let's have the slides. Yes, Uncle.
Calling by any name.
Oh my gosh.
Fantastic. Let's give Uncle a round of applause. Could you say that one sentence, Uncle, of the bhajan? Yeah. All right, then. Call him by any name, he lives in your heart. No separation, he lives in your heart.
So, we thought that this bhajan was perfect and it links to Baba's Mahasamadhi. So, after the Mahasamadhi, a lot of people thought that, oh, Bhagwan's gone, he's no longer close to us and we can't interact with him. But in fact, he came closer than ever with us, and he no longer lived in the Yajur Mandir in the Prashanti enclosed area, but he actually lived in our Hriday Mandir in our heart, and he still does. So whatever name, whatever thought we have about a spiritual thing, Bhagwan is there straight away and he will listen to our prayers, as a lot of our droplets of love have expressed today as well. So well done. And I think that is
the last one.
Yes, and who won?
5-1. So let's give them a round of applause. Excellent. I mean, at the end of the day, it's what we take back, which is the messages Ketan and me have been explaining all throughout for the bhajans. So that brings us to the end of the game. And I think basically from all the sessions that we've had so far, whether it's the droplets of love or the bhajans or the speeches that we have heard, I think the important thing is that we need to see Swami in everyone so that we feel that his presence is with us always. So we can't just stick to Swami being in his physical form, but we see Swami in each and every one of us. And I think that is the true meaning of selfless love, which Swami himself practiced and showed all through his life. And Swami himself has said, where my glory is sung, there I install myself. And life is a drama scripted by the Divine Master. So without getting involved, the drama just unfolds on its own. So we just need to be there and do our part, and everything else, Swami does it.
And I think that quote links again to Vasanthi Auntie's little story about we just sit back and let his divine drama, the long way round he takes us, but he does get us there in the end.
And it is all the more sweet at the end when we feel that He is there with us.
So, our final program of the day and what a grand finale it's going to be. So, we have a regional music program dedicated to Bhagwan's 92nd birthday. And the idea is that we need to remind ourselves that Baba is always with us, close to us, and is aware of all of our actions, every breath that we take, and is in every single place that we are as well. So let us remember this and show our gratitude to Him through Sai Vandana. Sai
Yes.
Sri Sai Ram. Sai Ram, everyone. Okay. So, hope we're all enjoying ourselves so far. Are we? Yes. So, we are here to shower our love to Swami by presenting a few musical pieces. The first one is an obeisance to Lord Ganpati. This is a Marathi bhajan, Sura Niragasaho. So basically our aim here is that when we present our sur, our notes, that we should give it innocently, with no pride, with no ego. When our sur is honest, when our sur is innocent, it goes beyond musical technicality. As we all know, music is a form of communication, and unless it is rendered with love and with true feelings, it will not move the Lord. So, Suri Niragasaho. The next song is a Tamil song, which portrays our Lord Swami as the divine goddess, as Mother Janani. So, oh Mother, you are the source of all energy. Only when Parameshwara is with you is he capable of creating this universe. You are the one who energizes this entire cosmos. And it is only for this reason
that all the deities, including the Trinity, worship you. Adi Shankaracharya says, to even sing in your praise and glorify you, we must have accrued virtues from several of our previous births. Janani, Janani.
शिवशक्त्या युक्तो यदि भवति शक्तप्रभवितुं न चेदेवं देवो न खलु कुशलः स्पन्दितुमपि
अतस्त्वा आराध्या हरिहर विरिञ्चादिभिरपि प्रणन्तुं स्तोतुं वा कथमकृतपुण्यः प्रभवति जननी जननी जगमनी अगमनी जननी जननी जगमनी अगमनी जगत्कारिणी परिपूर्णिनी जगत्कारिणी परिपूर्णिनी जगत्कारिणी परिपूर्णिनी जननी जननी जगमनी अगमनी जगत्कारिणी परिपूर्णिनी जगत्कारिणी परिपूर्णिनी जननी जननी जगमनी अगमनी जननी 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 ஒரு மால் மழுவும் சிறு பூந்திரையும் சடைவார் குழலும் வாகனமும் சடைவார் குழலும் பிடிவாகனமும் கொண்ட நாயகனின் குளிர் தேகத்திலே நின்ற நாயகியே இடபாகத்திலே நின்ற நாயகியே இடபாகத்திலே ஜகன்மோகினி நீ சிம்மவாகினி நீ ஜகன்மோகினி நீ சிம்மவாகினி நீ ஜகன்மோகினி நீ சிம்மவாகினி நீ ஜனனி ஜனனி ஜகமனி அகமனி ஜகத்காரிணி परिपूर्णिनी चतुर्वेदங்களும் பஞ்சபூதங்களும் ஷண்மார்க்கங்களும் சப்ததீர்த்தங்களும்
पीठमुनि सर्वमोक्षमुनि जननी जननी जगती अगमनी जगतारिणी परिपूरणिनी जगतारिणी परिपूरणिनी जननी जननी जगमनी अगमनी जननी 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 जगमनी अगमनी जननी जननी जगमनी अगमनी
The finale song is a Qawwali called Kisai Paase Hai.
Student.
So we'd like to offer Bhagwan a little token of our gratitude through a song, just to express that yes, He is always with us in our hearts, and we will always keep Him in our hearts too. Sai Ram.
खुशबू हो सांसों की दिल की प्यास हो तुम जिसकी थी हमें बाबा वो तलाश हो तुम अब तो सारी दुनिया से हम बेगाने हैं साई पास है, ये साई पास है, बाबा पास है, दिल में वास है, ये साई पास है, ये साई पास है, बाबा पास है, दिल में वास है। ये साई पास है, ये साई पास है, बाबा पास है, दिल में वास है, ये साई पास है, ये साई पास है, बाबा पास है, दिल में वास है, ये साई पास है, ये साई पास है, बाबा पास है, दिल में वास है, ये साई पास है, बाबा पास है, दिल में वास है। तेरे जन्मदिन में साई तुझे कोटि प्रणाम करेंगे। तेरे जन्मदिन में साई तुझे कोटि प्रणाम करेंगे। तेरे जन्मदिन में साई तुझे कोटि प्रणाम करेंगे। तुझे कोटि
Sarvadharma prayer, Arti and the Vibhuti mantra. Please don't leave without Baba's cake, and Vibhuti is kept in the foyer. Jai Sai Ram. Om Tat Sat Sri Narayana Tu Purushottama Guru Tu Srila Bhota Tu Sanda Vinayaka Savita Pavaka Tu Savita Pavaka
समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ
Paramam Pavitram Bhava Vibhuti Paramam Vichitram Leela Vibhuti
Sairam everybody. What a wonderful day we had so far. I'm going to take slightly longer today, so please stick to your seats still, okay? Don't try to run away. This is the last program of this year, and I think there are a few things we need to, let everybody know what happened during this year. I'm not going to go through everything in detail. So, just again, I just sat there. I'm sure all of you thoroughly enjoyed this program, and I thank each and everyone who has contributed to the day. So I was very much interested in the young MCs. They were asking us lots of questions. Sanjay had a fantastic presentation. So I've got a little question to you guys now. Got inspired by you people. So when is Swami's birthday? That is the usual answer. No, not impressive. Why did we celebrate today? Today is 26th. Yesterday some centers celebrated. Last week somebody celebrated National Birthday. Fantastic. Somebody said every day. So today you got one more point now at the end of the day. So Swami's birthday is every day according to Swami. You don't need to wait for November 23rd or 25th or something. Every day is Swami's birthday. We had a wonderful day, like wherein our droplets of love. It was actually like a shower, or rather, a very hard rain actually, some of the incidents when we were listening to. Wonderful experiences. Swami has, he doesn't need to be there physically. Some of us had the opportunity, some didn't have, but that doesn't mean anything. As long as we are able to soak that love. And I think that was brilliant to hear some of the experiences. Arvind Bhai, Vasanti Auntie, even my son, I never heard that before from him. Sometimes it's important, to let them onto the stage to hear certain things. So, yeah, and Prakriti, that was wonderful. So next question is, what are the gifts Swami likes? There are 4 gifts, okay, I'll give you a little clue. At least name one. Somebody said heart here, I'll take that. Okay, I think this is slightly tricky. One of those trickiest questions of Swami. When we go to a temple, what do we take with us? Flowers, fruits, prasad. Okay, not everybody. Flowers, fruits, water, patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam. Patram is leaf, pushpam is flower, phalam is fruit, toyam is water. Swami says, make your body a leaf. Okay, so these are your birthday gifts you're going to offer, not me, okay? Just listen carefully. So make your body a leaf, your heart, flower, actions are fruits, and tear of compassion and love. So that's what Swami wants. Those are his birthday gifts, not like BMWs and whatnot. Okay, so we had a fantastic year. We had loads of things which happened during the year. I think one of the significant things, as somebody was saying here, seva. Seva has been selfless service. I think our region, as a region, we have done so much. Probably through various emails or WhatsApp images, you must have seen how much has been done. But a couple of highlights I would like to actually share with you all, which is the Bundles of Joy. You might have seen some pictures via the WhatsApp. Bundles of Joy is a unique project. It's a national project wherein, we are making certain, this is for the newborn, by the way. So I'll ask Vasanthi Aunty to give to show to you all what our ladies, the Mahilas, have done. I mean, obviously with the help of men. Because they have to drive them everywhere, don't they? So what is there in it, Aunty?
So this is a bundle and it contains... Okay, it is just a square piece of material which is going to be the shawl for the baby. And then we are making a little hoodie so that when the baby is washed, the baby's head goes there and the baby is nicely wrapped in it. Okay? So, and that is very, very simple to stitch. But even I can stitch it. And this is a nappy. Very nice. We've got templates for all these. Nicely done. And no buttons, no safety pins required. So as the baby's nappy is going this way, the mother puts these loops, puts the ends through the loop and ties it up and doesn't fall. So here we are so used to big baby's pins and things. This is very, very simple. And then the last item, there are 4 different things in this bundle, and the last item is a baby's dress. Okay? All it does is, imagine, mother just ties it in a bow here. So puts the arms through and that's it. And it's very simple to draw.
So basically, the pack contains...
The pack contains 1 blanket, 1 hoodie, 7 nappies, and 3 dresses. And that's the pack. So we were told to iron them, make them into a nice little pack, and then give it like a gift with a tied ribbon. So this is 1 bundle.
Thank you very much. So that's a wonderful thing. It's been done already in Bradford, Leeds and Manchester. So actually these packs, the UK organization, when they do medical camps in third world countries or in Prashanti Nilayam, this goes on regularly. Whoever is going to Puttaparthi, they take them and give them in the Swami's hospital. This is basically for the newborn, okay? I think this is a wonderful thing. I think one medical advantage definitely of this is that I don't see there is a nappy rash coming out of these nappies. So it will be good, comfortable to the babies. So all the Mahilas, this is your project for the next year. Okay. I think Vasanthi Aunty said this morning that you have 7 powers and men have 3 powers or something, is it? But I know the answer, one of the powers of those 3 powers is to control those 7 powers. Okay. So, thank you. I think SSC Bolton, I really, appreciate Ketan and his team. SSC Bolton has started pretty much, very young group in our region. and they've already come forward and done a presentation. So well done, Ketan. And earlier in the day, Bharat Bhai was sharing a little experience. I won't go into the total detail, but Swami, in one of the interviews with another devotee, actually said that this Oldham Hall and the Mandir, he knows all about it. Swami said all the gods are in this particular temple. That's what he said to Dr. Upadhyay. So thank you, Bharat Bhai. Beautiful hall, as always. We did so many programs here, but it's always, with this decoration, I think this time of the year, especially after Navaratri and all, I think it looks like we have done all the arrangement. Yeah. So, and again, Sunil, I'm just not going in a particular order. Some of the things I just noted, because I'm getting a bit of early dementia, it looks like. So yeah, Sunil mentioned about, Swami is always, when he went in, created that 9-gemmed ring, he's always ahead of us. I can't say, few steps or few days or years or generations, I don't know. But basically, he's always ahead of us. Whatever we do, we always, I think, he's the doer. That's definitely my experience. In the last few years, working with various people, typically for any event, I know like my team members, especially, my regional coordinators and center presidents, etc., vice chair, when a program is there, okay, 11 to 4 is birthday, Mahila Day, birthday. That's it we have on paper. What do we have? We have some bhajans, a video, something else. But today we are already running late. Partly I am responsible as well. 4:30 we are already on. So, he is the doer. There are lots of things which come, people come with various things, and it's an amazing day at the end of the day. He is the one who silently works behind us tirelessly. We just take the credit for whatever he is doing. So, and also, we always say happy birthday to him. He is always happy. I think we need to be happy. That's what he tells us in the reverse. So, thank you very much, Swami, for giving us this wonderful opportunity to serve you. And on this occasion, there are a few people who are leaving our, the roles are changing. So, I would like to take this opportunity to thank them. So, we'll start with Vasanthi Auntie, can you please come onto the stage? Vasanthi Auntie is tiring, I wouldn't say retiring, as a Manchester Centre Chair, and Arvind Bhai is stepping into her shoes. So obviously a Purusha is following a Mahila. So Vasanthi Auntie, thank you very much. Can you stay here for a minute? You are the center of attraction now. So she has been very, in the last at least 3 years of me being a regional chair and earlier as a spiritual coordinator, I had so many calls with her, and each time I never heard the word no from her. I think it's really, she's my mother's age. And sometimes I feel very, very, we are asking so many things. Can you do this? Can you do that? Thinking her as a center chair. But she is like my mother's age. And sometimes I wouldn't ask few things which I would probably ask my mother, can you get this please? But she never said no. I think that's a wonderful, wonderful thing I learned from you. And we will be really indebted to whatever you did. And thank you very much for your services at the feet of Swami.
As I said earlier, I'm only Swami's instrument. And he guided me, he gave me the strength, he gave me ideas, he gave me whatever I did. He gave me basically this fantastic opportunity. You wouldn't believe it. I needed to improve my... I'm looking at my son. We have had some ding-dongs within the family. Mom, he'll say. So I had quite a lot of internal changes. Swami knew that. So 4 years ago, he says, right, I'm putting you in a position. You change it or you'll hear something from your devotees. So if there was something from the devotees, they've kept it to their heart. and I have not heard anything. So after I step down, maybe that will come out. I don't know. But it was a fantastic opportunity. Anytime you get any such opportunity, please grab it with both your hands, because it's a journey you take with your Swami. Thank you.
Thank you once again. Thank you so much. And she's not going anywhere, by the way. She's still in Manchester, and she's always giving her guidance. So the next is Bharat Bhai Sisodia. He is changing as a spiritual coordinator, and Arun is taking over. So Bharat Bhai, do you want to just come onto the stage? Come on. Thank you once again, Bharat Bhai. Thank you for your support in the last few years.
My humble pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagavan Shri Sai Baba. Brothers and sisters, this is really unexpected, and whatever I have done is selflessly for Swami. He's the one who guides us all, and I think he's the one who is behind everyone. And thank you very much. Sai Ram.
Sorry, this is not like putting you on spot kind of competition, but I had to do it this way. The next one is, yes? You know the answer. Okay, Narendra Bhai, Bradford Centre Chair, Lidget Green. I may be shot down if I say Bradford. Lidget Green Sai Center, please come onto the stage. And Kamal Bhai is the successor. So, so thank you, Narendra Bhai. So Narendra Bhai has been the Lidget Green Sai Center chair for the last 4 years, and he has done amazing work there. And I would ask Narendra Bhai to say 1 minute. Okay.
Everything's been said. Thank you. Everything's been said. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your help again, and keep up the good work. And I'm sure we will continue to support Kamal Bhai and do enormous work as always. Thank you very much. So the last but not the least, and I sincerely apologize to my brother Amish. Last year he retired, not retired again, as a regional service coordinator. And would you like to come onto the stage? And Ashok Bhai would give him a small token of appreciation. Thank you very much. Sorry, it is 1 year late. The passing is 1 year late. Better late than never. Thank you. Amish, you need to save it for another year.
Sairam everyone. Many silent heroes here. I think one of them being Dinesh Bhai. He always showers us with all the flowers every time. And we've asked for 4 bouquets. He actually brought a 5th one. So I thought the best person for that would be Chandni. She's done a great job, as well as Ketan, but I don't think you'll like flowers. So what we'll do, we'll give you one. One last one.
Ashok Bhai has always got some surprise up his sleeve. That's why he wears this blazer, yeah. So I think, lastly, I think a couple of things. Again, during this year, we did so many Seva projects. I think the most important thing, again, when we had the Grenfell fire, we managed to, around 10 of us went from here, spent a weekend there, and did great work. That was one of the things. And today even, I think we have collected for the RSPCA. All the material will go to the RSPCA hospital in Manchester. So, again, we come to the end of this year. In Swami's calendar, again, our year starts with next year. When do we meet? New Year bhajans at Manchester and Mahasamadhi in April. Okay? So until then, I'll keep in touch with all of you. Okay? Be active. You will get lots of calls, lots of work to do. It's never ending. Okay? And have a safe journey home. Thank you very much. And lastly, sorry, I keep saying lastly and coming back. Today I wanted to say a few things. One is, all my coordinators, spiritual, service, youth, my vice chair, some of the coordinators are very young. They're going through very, academic-wise, they're studying and working hard. But in spite of that, they are able to contribute to Swami's work day in and day out. So I really want to thank them on this occasion. And if you would like to give them a round of applause to youth, SSC, spiritual, service. Service is also, I've got a very young service coordinator, Ashok Bhai. And my vice chair, where is he? He's there, Vinesh. Thank you very much, all of you. And without your support, it wouldn't happen. And of course, all the center presidents and the group presidents. And today, again, a lot of people came and said to me, the altar is wonderful. The beautiful altar is a routine theme in our region, as you all know. That's done by this chap, Ketan Parmar. You want to stand up? He's been our MC all during the day. He's an optometrist by profession. I think he's got a very good, definitely he's got very good eyesight. So no wonder he has got very keen eye on every item. Right from, I was watching where this come from. I didn't see that before actually, this bit. So yeah, he's got eye on every detail of the altar. Like typically, like how Swami looks, probably he'll look into each and every minor detail of the altar. I was asking one day I remember, why do you really, because he was spending a lot of time on putting those kind of things. I said, you're spending a lot of time. He said, don't interfere, just go and sit down, I'll sort this out, the program will start on time. So, but he has got those stars, those little lights, everything, that's amazing. That is the dedication, one of them earlier was saying. And again, wonderful SSC programs. Thanks all the teachers and the children. Catering. Somebody is shouting food from here. Thank you. Do you want to pack something? So yeah, again, amazing food. Cake. Thank you, Shakuben. And PA. Ravi literally stepped in the last week. He sent numerous mails, WhatsApp messages, and got everything in control. The mic problems were not because of him. It's all because of the speakers or the singers. You were not holding them right. The setup was fantastic. So thank you, Ravi. And that's it really. Okay, this last item is done. Thank you. And if I missed anybody, it's not out of intention at all. Please forgive me if I missed any names. And have a safe journey home. I think it is not snowing anymore outside. Okay, enjoy your evening and rest of the year. Okay, Sai Ram.